So you are a senior who would like to move here to Airdrie to be closer to your kids and your grandkids, but you're worried there's no hospital here in Airdrie. How will you be able to get health care, and is it too far away? One of the biggest questions I get as a local realtor here is about health care, because Airdrie doesn't have a full hospital. And as a primary caregiver for my senior parents, this is an issue I'm intimately aware of. Okay, we're gonna get super practical about what you do on your everyday and what you do on your worst day. It is true, it has been a long time annoyance for Airdrie residents that we don't have a full-time hospital and smaller cities do. Okay, let's look at what we do have and how it works here for seniors. We do have a 24-hour urgent care here behind me, and this is open, as it says, 24 hours a day, and it does many of the functions you would normally expect to see in an emergency room. And for those more serious situations, we do have a hospital with a fully functional emergency room about half hour away, about half hour north in Didsbury, and about half hour south in Calgary, Health Centre. Okay, so for the more serious things, so if you're having trouble breathing and chest pains and, you know, like stroke-like symptoms, some kind of more trauma issue, then we just don't mess around. Dial 911 and they'll get you to a local hospital. And the ambulance service here has been quite efficient. Now, for less urgent things, but still need to be seen by a doctor, of an asthma attack, twisted an ankle, infections, dehydration, lots of the more normal issues, you can come right here to Airdrie Urgent Care. They're quite busy, but I've spent many hours here with my dad, and they provided very good care. So it is a place that's right next door that can see to a lot of your needs. Now, the other thing that we have here is a service that avoids seniors many times, and we did this a lot with my parents over the last couple of years, is a community paramedic. So they would, either their doctor or 811 would dispatch a community paramedic. So it's a paramedic, he's in an SUV instead of an ambulance, and he's not rushing them off to the hospital, and they'll spend quite a bit of time, often hours, in their home dealing with normal things, dehydration. They put them on a drip, or medications, testing. And if necessary, then he would call an ambulance and then have them take them to an emergency room. But it's been really great to have the community paramedics come and have seniors be able to spend time in their own home being treated rather than the trauma of going to a hospital at all. And honestly, I can't say enough good about these. These have been absolutely fantastic. A bit of a game changer for our family. And my dad, in the last year of his life, sadly, he died last May, but he made a huge difference, and he was being treated over and over again by the community paramedic. The other thing that we have here is home care. And home care have both care workers and nurses that will come to their home of the senior and help them when they have mobility issues, so help them with getting dressed, with washing. I know my dad, for quite a while, they came, got him dressed in the morning and got him in his jammies at night, and they would help them with bathing and whatnot. But they'll also send nurses for some more normal medication, intravenous drugs, changing catheters and that kind of thing. And so it's really helpful to be able to have that done, again, in a home setting, on a usually scheduled basis, rather than having to go to a hospital to have these things done. Okay, but now you're asking, but what if I need a real hospital? Well, they're there. So about 35 minutes north in the town of Didsbury is a hospital. Been there a lot. Tend to be a little bit shorter wait sometimes than going into the city. And it's just a smaller center, and it's the staff there have been fantastic with treatment. South, about half an hour in northeast Calgary, is the Health Centre, and the emergency room there is very well equipped, though very busy. And just a note, it kind of depends on what the issue is, because when you call 911, it depends on what your issue is and how busy the hospital is where they'll take you. For example, the stroke clinic is in the Foothills Hospital, which is in northwest Calgary, nearer the university. So if you have stroke-like symptoms, no matter if you had a hospital right next door, more than likely the paramedics and the ambulance are going to be taking you to the Foothills, to the stroke clinic anyway. Really, the most important link in seniors health care I found is not the hospitals and not the other specialized care, but it is the seniors family doctor. And I'm happy to say that I know of at least two in Airdrie, for a small city of just under 100,000 people, at least two doctors that specialize in the care of seniors. I know my parents' doctor, I think the average age of his patient is over 80, about 83 or 85. That he's been patient and amazing. And I've met at least one other in my practice as a realtor, geriatric doctor that specializes in treating elderly. Because it's a bit of a specialty, you need to be a little bit more patient, and they see a lot different things than you see with younger people. So you will hear talk that there's a piece of land set aside. I believe it's in southwest Airdrie. I can kind of picture exactly where it is. Set aside for a new health facility, which I believe is going to happen. Whether that turns into a full hospital or not, we'll see. But practically today, if you're looking to move here, it's important to consider what's already here, because this may take a while. May be fairly quick, we'll see, but I think these things usually take a little while. So when I look at like my mom's situation, she's got a doctor that will come right to the home. The blood clinic will come to her home to take blood. Her prescriptions are delivered. So even for people with lacking in some mobility, there are some services that can really help healthcare for senior seem a little bit more holistic and easier to deal with. And she's not really noticing that there's not a hospital close by, because the few times that we've needed to take her to the hospital, 911, ambulance, she's in there in a few minutes. And it's really not that big a deal. 99% of the healthcare she's receiving is right here in Airdrie. So if you're seriously considering a move here to Airdrie, or just like to talk about it, there are quite a few areas in Airdrie that are just perfect homes for seniors. Some of them are age specific and some of them are not. But you could be living in an area with fewer stairs, quite affordable compared to many other parts of the country, nearer your kids and grandkids, and living with other people that are in a similar station in life, which I honestly have found super important for my parents. So if you reach out, my telephone number is in the description below, and I'll pop it on the screen, and my phone number and my email. You can reach out, be glad to talk with you. There's no obligation to do anything. I just talk over what the next steps would be, try to answer some of your questions. And if this makes sense for you, then we can start taking steps from there. And the other thing I found is when people are moving here to join their kids, often they're at a distance. There's some of the people are coming from a nearby city, but some are from another province. We're able to actually go do previews of properties by camera live on your phone. So I can use your phone or your iPad and take my camera and do a live tour of property. So many people would find that helpful. But if you're not convinced that Airdrie is the next place for you, the place to upgrade your hometown, then watch one of these videos. I'm sure one of those will convince you. Thanks for watching.